All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to now talk about Bill Belichick and how he still has not signed his contract yet with UNC, and if that possibly leaves the door open for him leaving and going to an NFL team. Now, from what I was reading, it doesn't necessarily mean that, um, because what he has done so far, the only thing that he has signed is a term sheet, not a finalized contract. The term sheet specifies a $10 million buyout, which we covered, if Belichick leaves before June 1st, 2025, but only $1 million after that date. The term sheet explicitly states it is not a binding agreement and serves as a proposal for a future contract. So, he's still technically a free agent. UNC confirmed that this term sheet is the only signed document between the school and Belichick. So again, has not finalized, has not signed a official contract. Now, why is that? But as I was reading the article that I was looking at when it comes to this, this does happen sometimes. Such delays in finalizing contracts are common in college athletics, as noted by multiple coaching agents in the article. I think they did have this is an article on CBS. This is courtesy of Jonathan Jones. I think there's a couple of quotes. Well, I did bring up the quote of Belichick when he said, "I didn't come here to leave." That was at his press conference. So, but I mean, we'll see how true that is if he ditches him last second. But this is a quote from the university, I believe. The university proposes to enter into an employment agreement with Bill Belichick to serve as the head football coach. It is understood and agreed that this proposal of terms and conditions shall not constitute a binding agreement, and the parties intend to negotiate and in good faith to finalize these terms and conditions into a long-form agreement. But also, this is from an agent. It's not unusual to sign a term sheet and then have the full contract take a while. And that's an agent who works with colleges and the pros and college. A second coaching agent who also works with both college and pro coaches confirmed as much. Schools drag their feet like crazy, and I don't know why. And then, what the other thing that was interesting that happened yesterday is that Belichick's girlfriend posted on her Instagram two people that are really committed to UNC. I'm trying to see if I could find it. Actually, Belichick has Instagram now, I think. Yeah, he does have Instagram. I wanted to see if I could find the. Yeah, here it is. So, so she posted she pictured two people who are overly committed to UNC football. And this was yesterday. So, it could mean that, it's just taking a while, like the agents are saying. And, I think if she's posting that, then maybe, that's the case. But it is just interesting because when you see that, you think, oh no, is he having second thoughts? Maybe there's a coaching position that has opened up in the NFL that appeals to him. I mean, the Cowboys have an opening now, and I know that was a spot that I brought up. He liked the NFC East. If any of those positions opened, he would take them. Well, the Cowboys just parted ways with Mike McCarthy, so maybe you want to go there. Tom Brady supposedly was recruiting you to coach the Raiders. Maybe that appeals to you, even though Tom Brady would become your boss. I don't know. But it would be unreal if he decided, yeah, I'm good. I'm going back to the NFL. After, basically verbally agreeing to become UNC's next head coach. It just, they'd be done dirty. And then there would be supposedly some legal action that would take place against him. And, they'd be ticked off if it happens because, they'd bring in arguably the greatest head coach of all time. And he's just like, never mind, I'm going back to the NFL. Sorry. But nothing's happened yet, including him signing the contract. Now, I do think that we will see Belichick back in the NFL. I think at some point we will see that. Maybe he doesn't coach his entire contract at UNC. Maybe this year doesn't go well. And maybe, next year, job opens up in the NFL that interests him and he leaves. There's many different possibilities. It's hard for me to see him end out his career in college. But who knows? And it's funny because people have brought this up. The Falcons didn't take him. He interviewed for the Falcons job and they didn't take him. They signed Raheem Morris. You kind of wonder what would have happened if Belichick took that job. How their season would have went. I mean, look, the Falcons still finished, with a winning record. Actually, no, they didn't. Didn't they go 8-9? Because I forgot they ended up losing to the Panthers the final week of the season. The Falcons ended up going this year. Fact check myself. Yeah, they went 8-9. Yeah, because they ended up losing. And their defense was not great. If Belichick was there, defense probably would have played well. Played better, I should say. And they do have good players on that defense, but mainly in the secondary. But did the Falcons make a mistake, not bringing in Belichick? I don't know. We'll see what happens next year, full year Michael Penix. I mean, I think the real reason why the Falcons didn't make the playoffs, I mean, you could probably say coaching and, the defense, but the quarterback play, Kirk Cousins just was not good for a stretch, and that really cost them. And then they put in Penix, and it was like too little, too late. Even though, I like what he did, but it was too little, too late. But yeah, I mean, there's still, like for Belichick, there's still a lot of jobs out there right now in the NFL that, he could have interviewed for. Or maybe there really wasn't that much interest. I don't know. I mean, there is definitely interest. And Tom Brady's reaching out to him. So yeah, I mean, teams got to be interested. But I really wonder why he was so quick to making his decision. I mean, I guess maybe, they were going to move. North Carolina was maybe going to go in a different direction, and if he didn't commit to them right away. But then again, he hasn't signed the contract. So I don't know why he was so quick to, making a decision here. I mean, you couldn't have really surveyed your options, between college and the NFL. And instead, he just was like, I'm just going to take this. Now, I think it was a very unique option. And, I'm curious to see how it all plays out, once he signs the contract. Because, it's a new challenge for him. But I feel like he should still be coaching in the NFL. Now, this is a different conversation, but when we were talking about Belichick, someone said Belichick is not a great coach. And I can understand from that perspective why. Because of when the year Tom Brady leaves, wins the Super Bowl with Tampa, and, the Patriots just went on the downward spiral after that. I could see that. That doesn't look good. But I think it's more than just that. I think, yeah, things might have got stale at the end for Belichick in New England. But you can't say that it was all Tom Brady. Now, you might say it was more of Tom Brady than Bill Belichick, but you can't say it was all Brady. Belichick had something to do with it too. But that's a discussion for another time. But yeah, it's, I would like to see Belichick back in the NFL, give him another shot, see what happens, and, get the all-time wins record, and then call it quits. He's trying to go for Don Shula's record. Well, that's what people assume he wants, but, by going to college, that doesn't really help him. So, we'll see. I'm going to say he doesn't finish the whole contract at UNC. I think at some point he's going to leave. I mean, maybe he builds up the program, they have a good year, and then he says, all right, tells his son he's going to take over, right? Because I think his son's going to be on the staff, and then he goes back to the NFL. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't think it's the last we've seen of Bill Belichick in the NFL. I think we are going to see him back at some point. Maybe not right now, but this was something to just discuss just because it was making news, and it's Bill Belichick. So, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think Belichick backs out of this deal and doesn't coach at all for UNC, or do you think that maybe at some point, down the line, maybe he goes through 1 season, 2 seasons, and then maybe, he goes back to the NFL? Do you think he goes back to the NFL at all? I think at some point he does, but only time will tell. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. We're going to, before we go to break, sometimes do that. Just wanted to remind you guys, as always, or once again, to tip or donate and get your comments recognized, make sure to hit that super chat button in the chat. If you want to see me acknowledge any thought or comment you may have throughout the live broadcast, it makes the show more lively and more entertaining between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. We appreciate you guys' viewership each and every day. So any contribution you can make to the show means the world to us as we put out content for you guys each and every day. And also, the other way to help out the show is by going to the link at the bottom of the show segment on the ticker, GSMCPodcast.net. That is GSMCPodcast.net. So when we come back from our next break, we will get back to previewing the games for divisional weekend, and we will preview the 2 Saturday games, the 2 number 1 seed games, the Texans and the Chiefs, and the Commanders and Lions game. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.